My name is Bianca Broos. I'm a licensed partner and manager of the Sonoma County Engel Völkers offices. And today I get to have a conversation with Martin Hurtado. He is an advisor in our Sonoma shop, and I'm delighted to unpack what makes Martin so special in our ecosystem. So with that, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We've been working on this for some time.
It's been a couple of weeks
It's been a couple of weeks. And so we've had enough time to build up a story of what this is going to be.
We'll see. Huh?
We will see. We will go just jump right into it. We met very recently, right, when I came into the ecosystem here at Engel Völkers in Sonoma, and you immediately stood out to me because some of the things that you're doing just feel so fresh to me. You have such a drive and such an ability to put people at ease. You are unafraid to ask questions and to find a way for your clients. So I'm just curious, where does that come from in you? Why is that so important to you to really lean into your clients?
Ooh, that's a great question. For me, I would say it's natural. I do pay attention to detail on my clients' needs. Not to say that I'm very detail-oriented when it comes to what they want, because I do like to put myself in their position to say, wow, this is a big purchase. I can only imagine me doing it once again. So I go back to those days to remember, and I'm like, wow, this is a long commitment.
Yeah.
How can I put myself in your shoes and explain A through Z? No surprises.
Yeah.
Because the way I see it at the end, I don't want it to come bite me back and say, oh, I didn't explain this, or why didn't you tell me this? I almost treat my clients like detail to detail.
Yeah.
And that's what I like, and I'm sure they appreciate it because I haven't gotten bad feedback yet.
That's great.
But I try to make it as simple as possible, and I've always been that way. I just don't like any negative things coming back to say, oh, you didn't explain this, you didn't explain that. So before that question comes up, I probably already answered it.
Or you're ready to answer it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what you're describing is, to me, is empathy, right? Because you are dealing with people who either they've never done this before, or it's been a while since they've done this.
Yeah, that's a majority of my clients are first-time homebuyers. Not that I just focus on that. I get what I receive. Right. So whatever comes my way, I take it, whether it's investment or first-time homebuyers, but the majority is first-time homebuyers.
So your first-time home buyer is a person that is particularly in our community, right? Sonoma County, we're in California. Lots of times people have a preconceived notion in their mind that it's not affordable and it's too expensive. And so to be a first-time home buyer in Sonoma County is actually a really big deal, because these individuals have spent some time preparing themselves for this purchase. So when you're talking about guiding your client through every single step and having that empathy of knowing what they're feeling and how they're feeling, and then answering their questions before they even ask them.
Correct.
That is really what you're describing, what you're saying you do.
Yes.
In each transaction.
Correct.
So walk me through it. Your phone rings or your email pops in. There's somebody who's, hey, we've heard about you, or we just saw your awesome post on Instagram, because you do a pretty good job on Instagram as well. We saw what you're putting out there. We want to talk to you. We're thinking about buying a home. What's the next step?
The next step is basically getting a buyer consultation going, getting all that information away. In that consultation, I don't like to bombard them with a whole bunch of information. So I try to keep it simple. Just start off with getting pre-approved, connect them to a great lender, and begin with that.
Yeah.
And then as we go, I take it that way. We take it slow, but
it's deliberate.
Correct.
Yeah, there's a plan.
Very.
So that's, I think, what I remember when I was in my 20s and bought my first home. I had no idea where to start. You probably relate to that, right? Like, where do I even start?
I feel like everybody's lost because you start hearing, whether it's family members or social media, whatever it is, and then you get fed with all these comments, information, but you might still not know where to begin.
Because you're not the expert.
Exactly.
So then at Engel Völkers, we talk about you have a licensed realtor, but that isn't your title.
Correct.
It's an advisor. So I think that's a really high bar to set for yourself, because if you're an advisor, you approach everything differently.
Correct.
So tell me about that and that appeal for you.
When it comes to that, I like the fact that we are advisors. So every situation is going to be completely different. You have a first-time buyer, but it might be different compared to maybe on the price, maybe on the location. It's just going to be completely different depending on the client as well. They might have a different way to work with. They might or may not like you. So that all depends too. If I don't see something where I connect with that client,
the chemistry,
he or she has to go with somebody else.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to work with that person. We see that tension between, and luckily we have a whole office full of advisors.
Yeah,
so.
That's right. I think it's when you're saying that to me, you're tapping into anything that is really personal. I would think that buying a home is almost like a life event.
Big time.
And if I think of any life event that I've been through, whether it was having a child or I've been divorced, the person that advised me on that, buying my first home, those are life events where you really want the right person on your team.
Correct.
So you really watch out for knowing who you're working with and what they're needing.
Yes.
And then almost like peeling away the layers.
Little by little.
Yeah.
Not saying that we or any of us are opposed to helping that person. We have to either find that soft spot to figure out we can really help. But that's where the advisor part comes in. You have to navigate through those little, and if you can't.
So there would have been 1,000 things you could have done as a profession, right?
Yes.
And somehow you chose real estate, and not just real estate, but again, with that advisory point of view in mind and that as your role. What brought you to real estate?
Before I even thought about real estate, I worked as a car salesman.
Okay.
Close by Napa. I worked there for about 4 years, and I kept getting clients in that wanted to get a pre-approved or approved for a vehicle, whether it was new or used. And till this day, I still remember and still talk to some of those clients that say, I can't even qualify because I lost my home. That was like their main reason.
Yes.
Not every single client, but a majority of them. And then that's when I started digging into it. When COVID hit, 2019, I looked into it. I just searched it. Why this? I had an idea, but at that time, recession, 08 dilemma came up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I looked into it, and I'm like, well, they were just misinformed. And that was my thought. And when it was mainly the Latino community that had those issues, and they knew a name right away to blame.
Right.
So I'm like, I know that person, or how can I fix it?
Right.
And me, naturally, I'm like, you know what? Let me see how I can fix it myself for the people that actually I want to help out, or that trust me enough for me to help them out. And that's when I got interested in getting my license.
That's amazing. And you're actually touching on something that I don't think a lot of people know about real estate and licensed realtors, particularly if you are taking an advisory approach. You actually can really support you can't qualify them for a loan, but you can actually really support them in identifying where they are financially and want to be, and when to refer them to a lender, when is that time, or what you can do to help them get ready to be positioned to ask a lender for support.
Correct.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that a realtor really can be a significant asset to your financial advisory portfolio.
We're full of connections. I would say it's a big role when it comes to our position. It's very rewarding.
Yeah.
Because you do have all the connections. You immediately, a lender would be first, and then from there, electricians, plumbers, everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Yeah.
And it's cool when clients still contact me. Hey, do you know somebody?
Yes.
Do you know this person?
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I love when the phone rings and it is a question that actually has very little to do with my immediate job description.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
it
Like,
tends to happen.
like it's so rewarding because it's like, you thought of me. And that's really cool because we talk a lot about personal brand and what you're known for, right?
Correct.
And it sounds like you really have a personal brand that I would think you're a problem solver. You are somebody that people call when they have a problem, whether it's about their home or buying a home or the market or whatever it may be, but they come to you to say, hey, do you know anyone, or how would you address this?
Correct. Yeah, that's as simple as it sounds. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I feel like they see you took on this transaction where it became a huge part of their life, and it's almost, hey, doc, go find me this person.
Yes.
And it feels that way. I don't take it that way, and
But
I immediately help out.
Yeah.
It's automatic.
Yeah, it's a great great position to have in a person's life. I think I'm imagining your listeners kind of thinking, okay, I dream about buying a home, but I don't even know if that's possible.
Correct.
And I don't even know that I have the right job or the right income or the right down payment. We work with people that are in every segment of life.
That's right.
And I think of people who run companies, like a CEO or an entrepreneur. A lot of them have a board of advisors.
Yes. Yes.
They have people that they go to that are expert at a wedge of their business or their life that they're not an expert at.
That's right.
And I think when you're first starting out in life and you're first starting to think outside the box and think, okay, maybe I want to buy a home, you're thinking you need to know everything yourself.
Correct.
But I would like to encourage every first-time home buyer out there to think of themselves almost like a CEO of their life and to build their board of advisors. And you are one of those advisors.
A portion of it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Where you can come in and truly unpack for them what is possible and then help them make that goal come true.
Yes. And you touched base on somebody that I don't even know if I qualify. That's a big question that I get too. And then my next question would be like, when did you try? Oh, I haven't. It's from what I hear. That's where the planning begins. Some people think, and I do come across till this day, once I get approved or I speak to somebody, do I have to buy? No, this is just to see where you stand. But taking that first step of actually trying is when reality hits and says, do you or do you not? And that's where the advisor part kicks in. If you don't qualify, or where do we start to get into the process to begin the whole process?
Yeah, to begin to get you to be qualified.
Just an example, I've been working with a client that I recently closed on. It's been over 2.5 years when we first began.
Wow.
Whether it was fear or whatever the case might be, I won't talk about their situation in specific, but it took 2.5 years to get it done.
Yeah.
And that's where, like I said, the advisor part really hits, because for 2.5 years, we're working on certain things to get to their point where they are now, to stay in the town that they wanted to do and under the budget as well.
Yeah. When, as professionals in any field, but particularly in this field, I recognize that we have consumers who may be really educated in their life and in their expertise, but there's a knowledge gap, right? And we have a lot of misinformation and just the little popcorn pieces of information that may or may not be applicable to each individual. And so there's a knowledge gap. So a lot of what it is that then you do as an advisor is bridge that gap, help them understand, okay, this is what is true. Here's some myths. Here's some pitfalls we need to fix. And then you'll be positioned to make the choice you need to make.
Exactly. That's as simple as it sounds, but yes, that's how it is.
Yeah.
And every transaction is going to be different. Every transaction.
Yes, each situation.
Correct.
Yeah. So you were a car salesman and now you are a realtor. And there is a misconception, I would say, about realtors just being salesy, right?
Correct.
All about the transaction. So tell me about what makes you a salesperson as a craft as opposed to just into the deal kind of thing.
I feel like when I first start speaking with a client, I don't see them as clients. You have to really get to know their situation. You have to know a portion of their life and why they're really trying to purchase. I feel like that salesperson type is maybe the first couple times that you guys meet, because they don't know you, I don't know them. And once that happens, it just becomes a seamless transaction where you don't think about anything else but getting that goal met to that transaction being completed. But for salesmen, I know I have it in me. I know I can be that kind of person to be tough, but not with my clients. If you do call me a salesman, it's going to be with the opposing parties on the other side, whether the listing or the ones that are buying and I have a listing. But that's because I'm playing the advisor role to do my best for my clients and serve them. But between us, now it's going to go public.
Between all of us.
I can't say I can be a salesman, like a strong-headed, hard-headed salesman when it comes to this industry, because networking and getting your face known, your word out there for your reputation matters very much, very much. I can't say
that you are that
pushy or nothing.
I was in sales when I think I'm an immigrant to this country. And so I feel like every person that comes to this country from another country does jobs that we're like, did you really do that?
Yes.
I've been in sales for all manner of things. I've sold vacuum cleaners. I once was a telemarketer for a funeral home. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
So there's some sales. Yeah. But I remember having a coach when I was in my 20s, and I was in real estate as well. And she helped me understand that instead of thinking of yourself as a salesperson and then having those preconceived notions of what that means, just only out for yourself, it's all about the deal, just wanting to get the deal done. And you are not that way. We have no advisors in our ecosystem that are that way. We really take our craft seriously. But instead of thinking of yourself as that, think of yourself as a storyteller.
Correct.
Because it starts with an S, right? So instead of sales, you're telling story. And that really resonated with me because every person has a different story and has a different need. And they're in every transaction. One of the things I love about my role is I get to hear the details of transaction. And I'm like, are you kidding? Really? That happened? Every transaction is so different. So I can imagine you really thriving in that.
Yes. And you touched that point where, the salesman part, I feel like there's a whole bunch of coaches I know you can relate. I just hate being sounding like a robot.
Right.
Like I can be a salesman and have a script.
Right.
But it's not going to work on anybody. I can receive a phone call from a famous coach or whatever the case might be. I'll hang up really quick.
Yes.
Whether I like it or not, the transition has to be like a human conversation.
Right.
That communication. That's why I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're touching on the scripted realtor and the person there's a lot of coaching out there that has I think of it as pushing the river. You get in a way and you're like this animal and it's like the gladiator approach.
Correct.
And I really think if you look at the market and who wants to engage, you can't force a real estate transaction.
Never.
There's not a time to say you have to buy a house.
Correct.
Even when the market is really great, which the public thinks the market is great when interest rates are low and there's a ton of inventory, which doesn't happen very often.
Not as often.
Yeah. But so tell me about the market. Tell me about Sonoma County and if I'm listening to you and I'm like, I want to know what is possible in this market. What can I do if I'm wanting to start out to own a home, or I'm ready to transition into my family home? What's possible in this market?
In this market, there's plenty of inventory. And right now, the main focus that fear that people have would be the interest rates. But there's ways to beat it. That's where you let us handle that part of the information process. So in Sonoma, I could say you have deals are what's happening now because of interest rates. They're not the best. And if you're out there and you're looking to buy in town, you might be able to be taken advantage, especially right now, whether you get your closing costs paid. I know prices seem to be a little high, especially in Sonoma. A lot of people are moving out of town. Just depends on your budget. But right now, you touched a great point earlier. Your first home will never be your forever home. And if it is, you clearly change it up. So for whoever's thinking about buying for the first time, you get that home, you stay in it, let's say you rent it out or sell it, and that's when you upgrade.
Think of this cute little, it wasn't even a fixer, it was a cute little house. I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And the person that moved in there, even if it's a couple, like you might have your first child in there, but that the second one, you're out.
Yeah.
So you're there for a year or two. then that can easily become your rental because you
Right.
bought it at such a great time. And if you consider these interest rates as high, they come down, you'll refinance, give yourself that additional buffer.
Yes.
Like so think of real estate as a tool to build wealth.
So for entry level, if you're looking to buy, it just depends on how many rooms you need. If you already have kids, those details to look into, whether you're willing to add to the property, make adjustments, either turn the office room into another bedroom. It just depends. But the median price, $850,000, which may or may not be true on every transaction. There's some deals that you're able to get because depending on whoever's selling that home might be eager to sell and they'll take a lower number.
Yeah.
Just an example. So when I hear the median number, it's an average number from
That's a good point. Yeah.
from other transactions or what they've really seen. But then again, like I just mentioned, it just depends on that home. If it sits on the market longer than 100 days, 60 days, we go in there and, for lack of better words, we get a deal.
Yeah.
But there's ways around it. If it has 2 bedrooms, an example, it might not be your forever home, but you can manage it within those first couple years. Let's say you stay there, make it work out. We turn that home into a rental home, or if you have plenty of equity, within those next couple years, you sell it, you upgrade your home, and let's say you wanted 4 bedrooms, now you have it.
So you're talking about real estate. Earlier in our conversation, you were talking about the step by step. It's almost like the homeowner, the buyer, this prospect you're working is jumping from lily pad to lily pad. Slowly, yeah. And using real estate as a mechanism, as a tool
Correct.
to build leverage and to build wealth.
Correct.
Yes.
I always like to say this to my clients. You leave, let's an example, $20,000 in the bank. What are you going to get out of it? Probably little to nothing, just sitting on interest. But whether you are investing and you need a home, but you want to start, because whether it's all you can afford or you want to manage your funds correctly, start small. Take baby steps. Simple as that. Take baby steps.
Being able to have a conversation. You are probably living somewhere, which means you're paying rent.
Correct.
You can, which is a huge part, and there's incredible programs to really even look into rental as evidence for being able to qualify for a home loan. So in talking to you and then talking to your lender partner, there are opportunities to perhaps the individual listening to us can't even think of, right?
Correct.
It's a little bit like when you don't know how to make a meal, but there's a full pantry and you're like looking at it and you're like, what am I supposed to do with all of this?
Very last, huh? Becomes an issue.
Yes.
It's a good problem to have.
Yes. But if you have the ingredients and you don't know that you have the ingredients, what I'm more thinking,
Correct.
How are you supposed to make a meal from that? So in knowing that they can talk to you, who knows what you can create with them?
I'll give you an example. One of the recent transactions I did, it was somebody who was a first-time home buyer, 1 child, married, and they were misled to a point where they thought they could not qualify, basically, whether they were uninformed or whatever the case might be. And I'm not a lender, but I have an idea of what I can manage or off the top of my head say, how did you not qualify? So I connected them automatically with the lender. We all got on a call, figured it out. And from there, I let the lender do his thing. It turns out they qualified. It's just whether they were uninformed, didn't have plenty of information. I was able to get them into a home, and they wanted to stay local. Back to what we were talking about, Sonoma.
That's a tough market to get into.
They kept saying, tell me about it. They kept saying, oh, Sonoma's too expensive. I definitely want to stay in town, but we don't know if we can. And I let them think about that for a second. And they're like, we're open to other cities, but we want to try Sonoma first. They wanted Sonoma, so we stayed in Sonoma. I found them a home, and we'll go back to what we were talking about. You start where I said you start small. It was a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom home, completely remodeled.
So they scrunched their family into this 1 bedroom.
Correct.
And made it work.
They're making it work because throughout that time, throughout the process, we had a 21-day transaction for
Okay.
the transaction to finish. And in that time, we brought in contractors. I somewhat give an idea. I'm not a counselor
Yeah.
when it comes to developing or anything, but I give ideas to what you can do, what's possible, or what you can do in 5-10 years from now.
Yeah.
And if you can do it, you can see it,
Yes.
eventually you will.
That's right. You paint a vision.
I painted that vision.
Yes.
And not that I forced it into them, but plenty of contractors were coming in and giving them ideas. Oh, you can do this, you can do that. It worked.
It worked.
It worked. And they stayed
That
in
must
Sonoma.
have felt really rewarding for you and also really rewarding for them.
It was very rewarding for them. It was shocking for them to stay in
Yeah.
Sonoma at that price.
When in real estate, when we talk about a client for life, I think it's going to be the easiest, smoothest. The phone rings. Hi, it's Bianca. I want to buy a $4 million property. No problem, Bianca. I
Yeah.
got you. Closing escrow in 7 days, and that's your client for life. No,
Yeah.
it's not. The client for life is the client that you see an opportunity.
Correct.
And it sounds like every step of the way, you guarded their dream. Like you literally guarded their dream and then made it happen.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, I like that, how you said that, but every transaction is going to be different. There's this in particular, there was a couple of days where we stayed till 9, 10, 11 p.m. with contractors or chatting it over. If they needed access to the house, I was there.
Amazing.
Not saying it's going to be like that for everybody, but
Yeah.
every situation is different, especially the first-time home buyer with fear or
Yeah.
is it going to work out?
Yep.
And you just have to
You
calm
just
them
have
down,
to stay steady.
ease into what their actual idea or
Yeah.
plan is, and go from there.
I had the great pleasure of raising 2 girls. And you were mentioning earlier, sometimes when you come to a transaction, you look at your client and you're like, I'm not going to treat you like you're a child, but I'm going to treat you like you don't know.
Correct.
And I'm going to walk you through every step of the way. And a lot of parenting is like that, right?
Yes.
It's like you're like, oh, you don't know. Let me help you. And there's something I learned in parenting that actually comes from a movie, but it's thinking about the thing under the thing. So there's this thing that clients talk about, but there's always something under the thing
Always.
that actually motivates this thing. And sometimes they don't even know about that. You know about it. You can tell it's
lot,
there,
yeah.
but they're like, what? And so it's what you're describing is being able to see the thing under the thing because you have experience. And also, while you have so much empathy, it's not yours. It's not personal.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
for them, it's really personal.
Oh, yeah.
So they bring all of their feelings to
All
it.
emotions show
Every
up,
single
but
thing.
you almost have to work as a counselor.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's based on experience and what I've been through,
Mm-hmm.
where it's been hard to say for me that there's been surprises or negative
Yeah.
surprises for them because all
Yeah.
the questions are answered. Or if I don't know them, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But that's what our team is for.
That's right. One of the things that I get to see while I'm sitting in this seat talking to our advisors in this more like formal setting, I'm learning so much, truly. And I'm also like, oh, I want to buy a house with you. Or I want to sell a
sign
house
you
with
up.
you.
This
right?
one's gonna be very simple.
Yes. This is, oh, you think I'm easy. No, sir. There's a thing under the thing. Let me tell you.
We'll take it as it comes.
Yes, exactly. It's a good attitude. But honestly, it's so refreshing to see that the idea that we have that every realtor does the same thing is so false, because when you take this profession as your craft and as an expression of who you are, you really bring your own style. And yes, you have the experience and the professionalism and the knowledge of what is required, but you bring your own style to your business and you attract the types of people that really connect with you and understand what it is that you want to do.
Yeah, I can touch base on that a little. I don't act like a robot, as I mentioned before. I can't, but I try to see the best in every situation. I can't not be myself when I sit around clients. And till this day, I still get invited to whether it's barbecues or
Yeah.
whatever the case might be. And I'm like, oh, I sold you this home a couple years ago, and hey, how's it going? I got a
Yeah.
referral for you. But I try to keep in touch with my clients and check in.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't sound like a robot, and
You're not
sorry,
a
I
pushy
keep
sales
touching
guy.
that subject, but it just flows naturally.
Sorry, I don't know. That's off.
We needed that pause either way. I was getting lost over here.
Yeah. Can you text Kati and then Jennifer is calling me. I don't know about what. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to the robot piece. I think I'm curious about when you're saying I'm not a robot, not the sales guy, I'm not the pushy guy.
Yeah.
Did you have a bad experience with a pushy, like hard sales person?
I just don't like that word. I don't like the word salesperson. I can say that. I don't like somebody that sounds like
they're just out to
get you to buy something.
Yeah. It's very predatory, right?
Yeah.
Because they play on emotions. I remember when my family moved from Romania to Germany, we didn't have TV in Romania, and it was for propaganda. It wasn't like, there was no commercials or
cartoons,
yeah. None of that. And I remember my grandma sitting in her living room and learning TV, right? And listening to the infomercials about like the knife salesperson or the person that was selling pots and pans. And it was all very generic, standard stuff. But she was just like, that's incredible. And she felt like they were talking to her soul, telling her if you don't buy this knife set, you're a horrible human being.
We're out to get you.
Yeah, we're out to get you. And I think we're thinking of salespeople as predatory. And I think that's the point you're making. The point is that this isn't about you, right?
Correct.
You are not doing it. Yes, this is your livelihood. This is your business, but this isn't about you. No. You are there in service with that sort of service leadership and that heart for your client.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to say it.
Yeah.
For lack of better words.
Heart forward.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, what are your hopes for your business and your clients, your past clients, your future clients in this new year?
I plan to strictly focus on Sonoma County.
Okay.
I will keep it brief. I began out in the East Bay.
Okay.
But it's been 2 years, almost hitting the 2-year mark, where I moved back to Sonoma to focus on my business here locally. So my plan is to expand. Just serve the
Sonoma County community.
Correct.
Okay. So that's a big decision, right? I think you putting some fence lines, some parameters around where your focus is going to be.
Correct.
And yet that's a big area to cover.
Yes.
Because we have such a really diverse market here. Whether you're looking at the cities, which is easy in all of Sonoma County, they're all very different from each other, very different markets. How do you plan to educate your audience and your sellers and buyers, your prospects, on what's possible in Sonoma County?
So for this coming year, I do plan on doing some, whether it's first-time homebuyer seminars, or for investors looking to buy their second properties or second, third, fourth properties and just expand their real estate portfolio. Different times, of course, but you can also find me on Instagram. My information will be somewhere down there.
Yeah.
But I do give out tips and tricks, whether you're under contract or things you can be on the search for, whether it's in Spanish and English. Luckily, I speak Spanish.
Okay.
And that just expands my
Your
horizons
reach.
of helping to reach people that might have questions. I'm easy to get a hold of.
Yes.
If somebody wants to find
You're
something.
the guy that I can call and ask a question.
Yes. Might cost you, but yeah.
Yeah. Me? Yes, you'll charge me. I know you will. But okay, so you touched on being bilingual and we didn't even speak on that. I don't know what it is like to be a person of Hispanic descent in our community, but I can imagine that it is something that feels really daunting. It's a daunting idea to say, how can we go from renting or wherever we are in our lives to expanding and being homeowners? And then also and this is my background too, just like the multi-generational living. That is so much more common in the Hispanic culture than it is in the sort of like mainstream American culture. So tell me about that. Is that something that you see even here in Sonoma County?
Yes, I do see it quite a bit. And I would touch base once again on that. I feel like if I'm ever working with somebody that speaks my other language, Spanish, it just becomes more of a deeper connection. I'm almost working as the advisor and the translator.
Yeah.
And it just creates that trust, that extra set of trust. You can easily have your daughter or your son translate, but when I can do both,
you're
I'm
in
the whole
fold.
mix.
Yeah.
In the mix. Not that I control everything,
no,
but I'm playing both roles, and
I know exactly what you mean.
Rewarding.
Yeah, because there's a resonance, right?
Yes.
There's a again, back to that idea of being a storyteller. You understand that story even more so than somebody who doesn't have that background and doesn't speak the language.
Correct.
And I think there's a misconception around what it means to be an immigrant to the United States and what it means to speak or not speak the language. I think there's this concept that everyone has to speak English or should be speaking English.
Yes.
And that's for a different conversation. But the reality is that there's so many families who are not bilingual, where the kids are.
Yeah.
And then automatically the kids, can you imagine being a kid having to translate a real estate contract?
Oh, yeah.
That's a really big ask.
Yeah.
So having somebody who speaks the language, and not just because they learned it in school, but because they understand the culture.
Correct.
That is a really special thing to have. Yeah.
You resonate a lot more with the clients. And once again, it just builds that extra trust. And it's natural for me where I'm happy to do it. It just, whatever comes my way, I take it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So you do this really well, even within our ecosystem. I think there's a couple of advisors we have that are Spanish speaking.
Yes.
But I think not even comparing or contrasting, just speaking the truth, you have grit and you have empathy. You speak from a place of just you're calm about things. You're not easily rattled. And you just come to the conversation with such an open mind to create a solution.
Every conversation is going to be, you take it as it comes, and it's going to be different.
Yeah. But you come with that attitude of, I'm here to help you.
Correct.
I'm here to hear you out. I'm going to figure out the thing under the thing.
That's where I become a therapist.
Yeah. And if you can do it in Spanish, bonus points. In California, we have Mexican food.
A lot.
Yeah. And it's good. Mm-hmm. Okay. So without having to not name all of your favorites, but give me your top 3 sort of Mexican food restaurants, trucks, places to go.
Top 3. First
3.
One, without a doubt, La Hacienda in Sonoma.
Okay.
Very traditional food. It reminds me of my mom's rice, my mom's beans.
Oh, God.
It's just
so good.
Home food. It just doesn't feel like restaurant food where they're making it in batches.
Right.
La Hacienda, without a doubt. And that's in Sonoma. Also, Los Molcajetes.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but Santa Rosa and Sonoma, they just opened one in Sonoma, so it's closer to me. Second best, and then third, taco truck. Everybody knows a taco truck, and that's El Roy's, the orange taco truck that's so delicious.
So delicious. So we covered that, but this reminded me the other day we were chatting, and we were talking about grocery stores.
Yeah.
And I love a good grocery store, and what other people think about good grocery stores is not necessarily what I think about a good grocery store.
Correct.
I want to go in there, and truly it reminds me of Romania. If I go to a grocery store, a Mexican grocery store, I can buy a saint candle, I can buy a terracotta mug, I can buy meat, I can buy dried beans, I can buy everything. Detergent, the kind that burns your sinuses. You know it's going to be clean. We bonded on a couple of grocery stores. Tell me about your favorite.
My favorite, I'll get in trouble if I don't say this, but my brother and my sister-in-law have Super La Favorita in Sonoma.
Yes.
Known for their meat, their veggies, and all sorts of things. If you don't find anything that's right there, basically, you don't need it. But they have it all.
That's awesome.
Steaks and bread, pastries, delicious every day.
God. Yeah.
I'm getting my fresh pastry there with
That's
coffee.
right.
Can't miss it. But that's my favorite one.
I will tell you, I don't think I would live in California as happily as I do without the Mexican Hispanic culture. It sounds really strange, but it really reminds me of home.
Yeah,
it's like the whole bit. It's everything to me, and I just love it. And it's so good. When we first met, and I learned that you speak Spanish and that you serve the Hispanic community. And obviously you work with anyone that is a fit and that you can support. And I don't even know why that has to be a disclosure, but it's like this is a weird world and we have to tell people I'll work with anyone who is a great fit.
Correct.
But to have that extra ability to say, not only do I speak the language, but I speak the culture, I speak your heart, I speak that inner through line.
It's a different feeling, yeah.
And you do that so well. So I'm excited about your first-time home buyer seminars and about making that dream possible for people.
It can happen.
It can happen.
It can happen, and it will happen.
It will happen. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bianca.